Okay guys, so this is my second video regarding hunting these tough monsters. I'm going to give you a full hunt guide on how you should approach them, basically how to engage them. In the video you can see I'm running the full Anja armor. It's the full set. I believe there's a couple of armor sphere upgrades in there, not entirely too sure. The weapon is the same as the Anja hunt, which is Iron Grace 2, so I'm pretty sure you should all have that weapon by this point. I'm running an iron weapon just for ease of accessibility, because I know not everybody might have this certain weapon, or the weapon that it's weak to, which I believe it might be thunder or water, I'm not sure. Anyways, so when you're hunting the Rathalos, Rathalos is also known as the King of the Skies. So you're definitely going to want to bring these flash pods. Flash pods are pretty much just to bring them down, or just to bring Rathalos down when he is in the air. He likes to be in the air a lot, so whenever he's in the air, you do not want to take him on head on. You want to first bring him down with the flash pod and then go ahead and fight him. That's not to say don't use your flash pods when he is on the ground, but really you're going to get the best use out of them when he is enraged and in the air, or just in there in general, since that's when he is most deadly. Now, you're also going to want to bring dung pods. Dung pods are going to be because Rathalos and Rathian, unlike in previous installments, instead of fighting each other, they like to team up. So you have the Rathian on the ground to worry about, and then you have the Rathalos who likes to be up in the air. So as soon as you see Rathian, you're definitely going to want to pop one of those dung pods onto her to get her out of the fight, so you can focus on Rathalos. Now, for the flash pods, for those of you that don't know, you mix or actually you don't even mix. At this point, it's just a flash bug. Flash bug translates into flash pods. So you can carry 10 max. I highly recommend bringing 10 flash pods if it's a hard hunt for you, and crafting more as you waste your 3. Alright, there we go. That's what we were talking about. Rathalos likes to be in the air. You see I have my flash pods prepped and ready. I try to go for the mount there. I get it. Most of the time you don't get them the first time. So when you knock Rathalos down off its feet, that's like that's as for every other monster. That's really your chance to capitalize. I was just lucky enough to have the pitfall, to have him land right on top of the pitfall traps, taking him out for longer. Now with Rathalos, some of his attacks are very scripted, especially his fireball. When he goes for his fireball, that's really when you want to go for his head. He leaves himself open from the side. 1 or 2 quick hits from the side, and you'll get quick little damage on there. So when he does his tail swing, you can actually go under his legs and avoid that damage. Only thing you gotta worry about is when he goes for his charge, like that one right there. If you're a little too far in front of his legs, you end up getting clipped and you take damage, obviously. There's his fireball. Like I said, that's when you want to take advantage. It leaves him open for a couple of attacks. But you gotta watch out for that little drop. There's his fireball again. I just barely missed some, but you typically don't want to sharpen it, especially in situations like that. I just happened to get lucky on that one. So like I said, he's in the air. I've got my flash pods equipped. I'm trying to bring him down. Because in the air, honestly, if you're running a melee weapon, it's going to be a lot harder to get any hits on him, especially if you're now running a Kinsect blade. So I knock him down, I focus his tail, obviously to get that extra carve. I get his tail, and he's still stunned. Knock him down again. This time you start focusing for his head. His head is an easier weak point to hit, since, I mean, obviously it's right there, it's easily accessible, it's easier to see, easier to hit compared to trying to hit his wing all the time. So when you attack his head, though, you gotta watch out for that fireball. I definitely wasn't prepared for that. I just want to make sure when you do engage him, whenever you engage him, you want to be at a good amount of health. Because if I was at a third health, that I'm pretty sure that probably could have killed me. Also, let's not forget, you always want to eat at the canteen. Make sure you're topped up on health, topped up on stamina. The more health you have, the more hits you can take, or the more, I guess, hits that would normally kill with one hit you can take. So I mean, health is always a good thing. I mean, defense is always a good thing as well. As you can see, I'm running 121 defense. The attack on there is 399 with the Iron Grace too. I believe I took a attack up and a defense up small from the canteen. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I had. So when you see fire with coming through Rathalos' mouth, that's when you can tell he's enraged. His attacks are a lot more deadly. They do more damage and they're a lot quicker. So you really gotta watch out with that. So while Rathalos is busy with the Great Jaguar, last thing I want to do is get in between them and end up getting hit by Rathalos' fireball. Right now I'm looking through my inventory to see if I had any more flash pots to get him out of the air. Turns out I don't. So when they're fighting it through, I mean, let them have their fight. Don't really put yourself in danger. Especially if there's 3 monsters going at it, as you'll see in high rank hunts. Get him right before he does his little slam. Focus his head. Since that's the first time I've stunned him, I'm able to get the full shock trap time on it. So when he's going through his animation, like I said, you really want to be able to hammer him home. It's just when he does his little windups that you got to be able to watch out for that and get ready to move away from that. Especially those fireballs, those do a ton of damage. So at this point, I didn't have any more flash pods on me, which is that's my mistake. I should have been more prepared for that. But yeah, so like I said, when he's in the air and enraged, or even when he's not enraged, he still does a ton of damage. Stunts definitely don't help you out either. Another thing, if you don't already have it, is the quick select wheel. That's going to be a huge help, especially in situations like that. So I knock him down. That's when you really want to focus all your damage on his weak points, being his head, his tail, and his wings. So, I mean, this fight is pretty straightforward. It's not like a Nergigante fight. It's really just getting those openings going. His fireball has a long windup, so like I said, that's when you really want to attack him. I try to get the last hit in. Obviously, doesn't connect. So try to get his attention to bring him over under those pods. Oh, one thing I didn't mention at all in the last video is the longsword's ability to counter. If you time an R2 and circle right after you do an attack and right before you're about to get hit by one of the monster's attacks, you actually counter it and it gives you a full spirit gauge leading into your last R2, which can get you a spirit coating. That's ridiculously helpful. It's basically an invulnerability period. You just have to be able to time it right, or else you get punished for that pretty heavily. So I think it's a good trade-off. I really only recommend doing that if you're experienced with the longsword. If not, I don't recommend trying to counter any attack with that. What was it called? I believe it's a foresight slash or something along those lines. I mean, that also negates roars too, so if you're attacking and you know he's going to roar, if you could time it perfectly, you can continue your attack and finish off your Spirit Blade with that counter. So I didn't get to finish off that Spirit Storm, but that's fine. I knocked Rathalos down, which is all we really want to do. We want to take the fights to the ground. Never try to fight him in the air unless you have a ranged weapon, which even then is still a bit risky since he's more mobile, he's more deadly in the air. So luckily Rathalos backs up into another Pitfall Trap, which is good for me. It's more free damage. That's, like I said, I mean, if it's not already obvious at this point, you really want to capitalize on that free damage from whenever he's either in an animation where he's resting, he's stunned, or whatever reason. Staggers help a lot. It's just, but like I said, to get the stagger, you need to be able to put a ton of damage onto him at once. I believe reading that each body part has a different stagger threshold, so I mean, if you are able to damage him quickly enough in every part, you can stagger him a good amount of times before he's able to obviously, get back up. So I don't have any flash pods in this fight at this point. I'm trying to hit one of the pods up top to try to see if that'll bring him down. So as you can see, I let him stay in the air since I don't have any flash pods. I just try to stay away from his attacks. I don't try to fight him, or I don't try to engage him in any fights that I know I'm not going to win. So pretty much that last bomb hit staggered him, so that's when I decided to go ahead and take my advantage, take my free hits and get out, which is a good idea. If I had stayed any longer, I would have been toast, literally. So yeah, key point for that: take the hits that you can get and run. Don't try to take them on head on, brute force with brute force. That's not gonna work. Now, obviously, there's better weapons that I can be using to fight him with, or better. I don't know if I should say better, more effective longswords that I can be fighting him with, especially longswords with elemental damage. But like I said earlier, Iron Sword for ease of accessibility. Easy to access for most players. It's really just getting the ore, which you should be able to get at this point if you have the Wildspire Waste. Now, if you have trouble finding the flash bugs or thunder bugs to constantly make your shock traps and your flash pods, they should have it available at the botanical garden. I'm not sure if you guys have that yet at this point in the game, but if you do, it's a huge help. Just spam cultivating both the flash bugs and thunder bugs, and you should be set with flash pods for pretty much ever if you just keep developing those. So now I've found with most monsters when they hit that resting phase, they tend to become a lot harder to fight. I I don't know if that's just me or if that's like I guess the second phase where they know it's like, you know, I'm either gonna kill them or I'm gonna die, so they fight harder. Not sure what it is, but they are actually way more deadly when they're almost dead compared to when they're just, you know, at mid or almost full health. So you really got to be careful with those engagements as well. Same rules still apply. Don't fight him in the air. Keep him to the ground. Alright, so if you have large barrel bombs, this would be a great place to set him up, especially since he takes extra damage from the first source of damage. So you set up a large barrel bomb for, I guess, 400 damage, multiply that by 2, 800. I'm just throwing out a number. I'm not exactly sure if that's what the damage is. But yeah, if you have trouble with him, those bombs definitely do help. It's sleep bombing runs, I believe. So as you can see, I take a couple of hits, I get out, reposition myself, get ready for another hit. Alright, so now he's enraged, so like I said, you see me sheath my weapon, I stay away from him, because like I said, the last thing you want to do, fight him in the air. And there's no wrathing in this fight. Yeah, there's no wrathing in this fight since this is a low rank hunt. I will be uploading a high rank hunt if that is what you're looking for. High rank involving like 3 monsters. Yeah, 3 monsters. You got the Rathalos, Rathian, and sometimes the B-52 bomber can be a huge issue, especially if you don't bring any dunk pods. So I will be going over a guide on that. So another thing is, I mean, he's running the other way, he's giving me open attacks, but last thing you want to do is take those. You never want to limit yourself to tight spaces, because hits like that, if it's a tight space and you don't do your panic dive, it's gonna hurt. You're gonna get hit by it. Now that he's out here in the open, I use those bomb pods to try to knock him down, and I'm able to do it with that pod. So I knock him down, I unleash my my spirit blade, finish off the combo to get that red one, or to get the yellow one. And I finish him off with that. Alright guys, so that is the second video in my, well, that's the second video that I have uploaded compared to the other one being the Anjo hunt. Next video, I will consider doing the Nergigante, or maybe even just high rank monsters that I notice people having trouble with. Or if you'd like, you can go ahead and leave suggestions in the comments. I will try to do my best to get back to it, but since, I mean, my channel is pretty small right now, it's actually ridiculously small. Just whatever you suggest, I'll most likely do. So, like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching.